All right, a lightning fast review here of the usual assets. So DXY, as you can see, had a nice move yesterday, but where did we close? We closed still within the descending, so no continued breakout yet. So that's nice to see. I'd like to see a nice continuation of this resistance holding and then eventually dropping. Maybe data can change that, but for now, the resistance still holds. Let's look at yields because that similarly has lost its upside, so more continued downside. Okay, the 1 year is not too relevant, but look at the 2 year, that definitely is a nice continued resistance, and down we go so far today. Obviously, that could change, but the point was it was still a red day, 5 year, right? Sideways, sideways slash down. So that's nice to see. So resistance is still holding across the board for yields and the dollar. Let's check out commodities, the copper. That breakout, that mini breakout is happening. And that obviously is helped by the fact that markets are green and yields and the dollar are red. And obviously we've held support for some time. We've broken out of the descending. So all of those factors combined equals, sideways up. Natural gas, despite being a technical nightmare, perfectly held this low down here. You can see that 2.1 absolute lows, at least that held. Now I mean, what we should do is gap, not even just gap fill, but move back up to 2.5. But we know natural gas is absolutely bizarre, but at least it held what is clear support. Okay, so that's nice to see. Oil, that for me is also continuing to do what it should do, which is just coiling, and it should break out. Okay, yesterday it was still closing just within the descending. What you really want is a close above 76. It's a nice round number, not the nicest, but it's a good round number. But more importantly, it confirms the breakout of the descending and the horizontal, right? The last high of sort of this period, which really proves that the breakout is. I mean, if imagine you have a close at 74.9. Yes, according to my little chart, it's a breakout, but maybe my chart's off by 1 millimeter and actually it's this, and therefore it's not outside. These little things can make a difference. So therefore you can tell, no matter whose chart you're looking at, if it's closed above 76, it's done. That's why I like to just have extra confirmation by the nearest horizontal if it's really nearby. So a close above 76, we go to 80, and then maybe some back and forth, and then bam, up to this larger descending. So oil also doing what it should. Uranium also did what it should, which is it closed the gap. And despite closing at low of day on that Monday, very strong bounce on Tuesday. So now it looks like it was just doing a standard bullish retracement, close the gap, back up to the highs, and maybe continuation. We know that uranium follows the markets a little bit, but actually it's been doing its own thing. I mean, this is not because the market's going up. This is because uranium's fundamentals are ideal. So what happens now is we should go test the highs, right? So it should be really 32. Do we close above 32? If we do, then we go towards 40. Wow. All right, uranium, so that's doing its thing. Platinum, the bounce continues. I mean, we retraced so much that a bounce is due. I think we're going to go back up here. Yields and the dollar were down, so that helps. So platinum bounce should continue with those movements in the background. Palladium, same thing. Retracement was over the top. Is support now resistance? I think we're going to bounce a bit. I mean, because it's just overdone, and obviously we have the dollar and yields assisting. So a bounce where to, I thought here, maybe something like that. Yes, I still agree. Gold and silver, yesterday was a sideways day, but we closed green. That's nice. And you can see 2015 is now basically support. It looks like we just went down to test the 2000 range. I still don't consider that a level, but maybe it was just some psychological test today. But the next day closed back above 2015. So for me, 2015, no more ascendings, just simple horizontal. And I do still agree with myself that 2060 is a 2055, 2060. You see what I mean here? These tails, a close above 2060 really should take you to 2150. So for now, just holding. We're probably waiting for some news, and then it will move either way. A close below 2015 would not. That should take you to 2000. 2000 is so close that I mean, I guess you could call it a level now, mini level. I'll just put it in. But yeah, 2000, 2015, 2060, those are the nearest levels. After that, it's yeah, 2080, 2150, and down here in 1975 here. So anyway, it was a sideways day, but it was green. That's nice. Let's look at silver. That did something that I expected, which is a bounce. Remember, that day was actually a good day, at least for the miners, those that hold miners, because it was a down 2.5% day for silver, but the miners were green, some of them, or they were hardly down, so that was good. And what happened yesterday is we retraced, and here we are in the morning already retracing. We're basically at resistance. It should be resistance, but I have the feeling we're going to go back up to test this level here, 22.8-ish, just because it's this descending resistance. And I just feel like we're going to push through resistance. But this should be resistance, right? 22.5. But it's nice to see. Bounce back up we go. So silver's had a nice green day yesterday. That's nice to see. And what happened to the miners? Well, the miners have outperformed the last 2 days. This is what I wanted to see. Obviously, we had a green day yesterday, but the miners were up 2.5%. I think that's slight outperformance still. So Monday and Tuesday this week has just been outperformance. We're filling this gap. I do expect, even if we have red candles in gold and silver by the open, I still expect this gap close to complete. It's still not done. And we closed a high of day, so we should really keep going. A close back above, at least for the GDXJ, this 34.7-ish zone should mean we keep going, but we need, the dollar yields to keep going down, and we have news. But the point is, this was outperformance. It closed a high of day, and the gap fill is nearby, so we might as well complete that. So that's nice to see. GDX, exactly the same thing. Don't need to go through that. Exactly the same thing. SILJ, same thing, could even say outperformed, and the gap fill is kind of done. So very nice day for the miners. Some individual miners also did okay, basically up 2% on average. So that's it. I'll keep it short. It was I think everything kind of abided by technicals yesterday. It's rare that everything does its role, but it was a kind of easy day to read, and it was good because the miners were outperforming. So good luck out there.